Are you getting ready for your PhD interview? Or you've already had some PhD interviews and unfortunately they didn't go well? You were ready. You read all the publications of that group, that professor. You were ready for all potential questions relevant to that PhD position. You think that you gave the right answers. But still you felt that something was truly off. You didn't get that feeling of certainty from the professor interviewing you after your questions, after your interview was done. Some people approach me with years of industry experience. They've been through different job industries and they really got the job successfully, but still they cannot manage to get that PhD position in academia. In this video, I'm talking about the right mindset that you need to incorporate for your PhD interview, which is very different from what you need to have for job in industry. And then afterwards, I will propose 3 simple steps but practical that you can use in every PhD interview that you are going through. This helped me to get my PhD 8 years ago, and this is helping other people. I'm helping them to finally get that PhD and start it successfully. What most of the people do is reading everything they can to get ready for potential questions. They take note and memorize answers. This seemingly is the answer or the way to go, but it's not the right approach because the professor is not waiting for the right answer. The shift is where you need to realize that they want to see how you think, how you react, or better say, respond under uncertain situations, pressures, frustrations, because guess what? A PhD is not about repetition of the same knowledge and experience that you had or bringing from previous experiences. It's about exploration. It's about something novel, new. You need to know, even if something is not clear, how to still think through and being able to move the project forward. This is truly different from industry job. They wish you to bring all the experiences already to add value from day one. So that shift in the way of thinking, how you should approach in the PhD position interview is very important. You got it right now. Let's go through the system that you need to now incorporate. When you are doing your interview, the professor starts asking questions. They don't want to see that if you have the knowledge. They want to see that if you can still handle the situation, how you are thinking. They want to realize how you function under different situations. For example, they are asking how you would approach some situation when something is failing. So as you can guess by now, you are not trying to find out what is the accurate, correct answer. What you need to do is first understand. Ask right questions in order to signal that you try to understand what is the problem. Because before identifying the real problem, you cannot think properly. So asking that, let me think through it, and ask some questions that enable you to understand the situation, the problem. In fact, behind that, you are trying to understand why professor is asking that scenario, that question, what they are waiting for you to signal to them. The second step is to show. This means that you need to think out loud. You don't wait to understand the answer and say it out loud. No, they want to see how you're thinking. For example, you say that I consider evaluating these factors and then I will test it to understand if this in this way works. This is showing that you are process-oriented. You are not just juggling around to find out what may work, but in fact, you are thoughtfully approaching that problem or situation. And the third step is proof. Now you need to talk about an example. Not exactly relevant or directly relevant to the same problem if you don't have, but now you know what is the purpose behind that situation and you look for some example. Genuinely, you have belief in yourself and you can represent it as the right example. Consider a mini scenario. The first person says that, yes, I know the method, I worked with it. The second person says, I don't have exactly the relevant experience with that, but I would consider testing going through this approach to find out what would be the best next step. The second person is more reliable because they are trying to signal the fact that they are curious enough to find out what exists, what could be the threats and opportunities. They can think autonomously and then propose and align with the supervisor to be able to take action with confidence. So next time for your PhD interview, remember, it's not about the knowledge. It's about the fact that you need to signal you can figure things out. This gets you much closer to get accepted. Wishing you all best.